In this 2023, the future of South Africa is still doomed because our youth ainam SABC and they straight go from ukuhlala ekhaya deep into crime. I see COVID coming back. We will have COVID, we won't have lockdown. This is going to be the worst year in terms of load shedding. People must embrace themselves. 2023 is going to be one of the coldest years. And meanwhile, we are preparing ourselves to be healed. Here comes racism. We're still going to have cases and cases of racism. We're still going to have cases of men killing women. Nevertheless, these are tourists coming from outside of South Africa, around the world, who will be bringing money. The class of 2022, they've done well. At least we have a percentage at unyuka kancane. Petrol, diesel, izoyehla kancane. We will have a better economy September, October. And those who will be making babies, they must know ukuthi lona unyaka wabafana. We'll have lots and lots of bafana players.
I should say Thokoza Gogo. So those are some of the 2023 resolutions. And on that note, we want to say Happy New Year, South Africa. We hope you've had a great festive season. A very warm welcome to your #1 Youth Current Affairs show. Of course, Kivalalaka Expressions. This is our first broadcast of the year. And we are coming to you live from Auckland Park, Johannesburg. And as you know it, this is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala. So the start of the new year is the perfect time to turn a new page, which is probably why so many people make New Year's resolutions. Now, the new year often feels like a fresh start and a great opportunity to change bad habits and establish new routines that will help us to grow, whether it's psychologically, emotionally, socially, physically, and of course, intellectually. Now, the question that we're asking you on today's show is, are you hopeful of achieving your New Year goals? That is the question that we're asking you today. Please engage with us. Tell us, what do you think about this very question that we're asking you today? Because many people, both young and old, in January, they introspect, they reevaluate some of their life choices, and they make their New Year's resolutions a bid to change or to achieve their goals. Now, the question I want to ask you, Gochaya, is simply this. Have you made your New Year's resolution for this year? Well, tell me all about it, of course, on our social media pages. But before we get into this very important discussion, we hit the streets to find out what you, as a young person, had to say about your 2023 New Year's resolutions.
Mo 2023 nka rata gore like re na dingaka tse nyane young traditional healers ra mogelwe and re tlhomphiwe mo ngwageng ona and ne re tloele go batla go trenda ka le tse wrong batho ba bantshi ba tlhokofetse for di celebrities in 2022. So this year I hope and wish gore go sa ba le di attacks. I wish ho be le pholo ho bana le thabo and ho bana le peace.
What I'm hoping for in 2023 is that we go back to basics, going back to how we were taught at home, because a lot of people have lost respect, they've lost being humble, and now they're doing as they please. So if we would go back to basics, then life would be much better for literally each and everyone.
It country to even a better country, because like, especially when it comes to gender-based violence, I want to buy far and like this thing are judge based off sexuality I sharp. And I look like basadi, baba abuse. I sharp, so it's stop at this thing.
This year, I actually wish that this year we can actually do better than last year in terms of, taking initiatives on the opportunities that have been put on the table for us, to put progress in our lives. The funds that have been put on the table for youth to actually use them to start their businesses.
Yes, I am hopeful for this year. A lot is going to change. More people are going to get jobs. but more especially on us youth. Like he didn't do well, as it's not the end of the world. You still have more chances to try a good thing. Just have hope, and then you don't have the results because you know you worked hard.
Wow, so those were very interesting comments that are coming from young people on the streets, and it sounds like they are extremely hopeful about 2023. And of course, I'm not going to have this conversation by myself. To help me unpack this very important conversation around New Year's resolution, I'm joined by Nicolette as well as Godfrey. A very warm welcome to Expressions.
Thank you.
I mean, I like the fact that you're both here because my most important and favorite topics, money and hopefully mental well-being. Guys, again, welcome. It's good to be able to start the year with you, I think, on this very important issue. For you, Nicolette, I want to find out, I mean, what are the key areas that you think young people should really focus on when they're setting their 2023, at least personal financial goals for the year?
I think that's where it is, Jackie. I think a lot of people forget that when we talk about personal finances, we're talking about your money and your personal finances. It's not about looking to your next door neighbor and say, Udirang, what can I copy from them, right? So I think ultimately, if you can focus on the goals that you want to achieve, and there's a saying in Afrikaans that goes, happy for happy, maak meer, right? So if you take it small chunks at a time, and you can take a certain area in your life. So for instance, you could be working on your credit score. We've seen that many people cannot access good quality credit simply because they don't have good credit scores. You can look at your budgeting. So I think it's important for you to actually identify in which areas are you actually falling short. Are you falling short in terms of credit? Are you falling short in terms of budgeting? Are you falling short in terms of actually your income? Because often we find that people say they give up on their budget because it doesn't matter how much they budget, they just can't keep up. And the reality sometimes is that you don't earn enough. So you've got to ask yourself the question, am I reducing or am I increasing my income? So I think as you rightfully say, it's about really looking into your own personal matters and saying, this is the one area where I feel I need to do something. For some people, it may be starting their investment journey. For others, it could be debt management or paying off, high interest rate debt. So each and every single one of us has that one area that we need to be focusing on. And it's not about looking, it's about focusing and honing in on your own issues. Yeah.
Increase or decrease? I wonder, because a lot of young people, I'm sure, are saying, we don't even have money to be having that kind of a conversation. But still, I think finances are still very important, and how you manage them is critical, especially if you are setting New Year's resolutions. Godfrey, it's the new year. Like I said in my intro, we are reevaluating. We're very introspective at this time. And we know for young people, there's a lot of mental pressure, not just financial pressure, mental and psychological pressure. I want to find out from you, how do you improve your well-being? How do you set a plan, most importantly, that you can stick to?
I think firstly we have to be realistic, because many of us, we set these unrealistic plans that we can't even stick to. And what we normally do, we'll say this so-called New Year resolutions that we don't stick to. It's about jotting things down and as well changing your character into being that positive person that you want to be. You can't just write and shove it in a drawer, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. So, and as well, exercising. You have to start exercising. Try and check on YouTube. For exercises, yoga. It can help you with mindfulness. And joining the gym. And if you can afford the gym, you can start jogging in your yard. It helps you and assists you. And you as well need to visit your plan time and again. You don't just write and put it out there.
I think it was Will Smith who says that you need to set goals that are so high that you have to grow up from the inside in order to be the person that can achieve these goals. But it's really, really tough, isn't it, Nicolette? Especially if you are thinking about 2022, as you're reevaluating, you're like, December ke jile tšhelete, festive season. And we know also a lot of young people, they went back home. And then, you were spoiling your family and the black tax and so forth. So how do they set a budget, especially if maybe they're coming from a back foot and January is coming with its worries?
Look, goals can be intimidating, and let's be fair, right? And I think setting a budget, sticking to a budget is one of the goals that many people might want to achieve this year. Even if you're just getting through it for the first 3 months, you know what? We are going to give you a kudos. I think the most important thing, and maybe perhaps I would like to say to Will Smith, let's park that one for now, because those are for big goals, right? But I think setting smart goals, you know, so giving yourself time, giving yourself a target, and living it like it's already happening. I am already budgeting. So what do I need to do to keep at it, right? Because most of us budget in our heads. You already calculated. You're like, oh no, 5,000, 5,000.
But we live beyond that means, we live beyond that
Absolutely,
means. So
absolutely.
how do we also overcome them? Because I think that's the biggest challenge. I wonder whether the problem here is, can we budget, or like you said, are we just not at a stage or at a place where we can decrease? You understand?
So let's look at it this way. There are two types of people, right? We've got people who think they are rich because they are salary rich. So they may earn more money than what their actual financial obligations are. The problem with that is that life is going to catch up with you. Because let's be fair, in a country like South Africa, we know our salary increments don't move at the same pace as our lifestyle inflation. So you may find that you are in that specific block. Now, those people budget in their heads. Then on the other side, we've got people who don't earn enough to, and we're going to have a frank conversation. Although they've got needs that do need to be fulfilled every single month, they also budget in their heads, because in their world, I know what I'm paying for every single month. Now, those two people, their biggest problem is that they all budget in their head. They're not tracking their spending. They're not writing it down. They're not making it realistic. So it's almost that ostrich bias that we've got. So let me keep my head down. If I keep my head down long enough, these things will go away. The reality is they don't go away. So either they become worse or they can become better. Because sometimes you'll know and say, maybe this month, you know, maybe I'll keep up. So it's important when you are budgeting. The first rule of budgeting, it does not matter who you are, how much money you earn, you've got to write it down. And actually, in this day and age, apps have made it even better. There's an app called 22/7 app. And basically, all you've got to do is to link your transactional account. It will literally pull all of your information. It will tell you what, Jackie, or rata hu itro chelet. Jackie will spend it on retail too much. Jackie, you're spending on food too much. Do you get it? So it will give you, because one of the biggest magical tricks of budgeting is tracking your spending. If you know where your money is going, you can make better and informed decisions.
And I guess maybe the other important question, as you're talking about tracking, even I noted it down, 22/7 app. I mean, what does your spending habits tell you about your emotional and psychological, I guess, disposition as a person? What is it telling us?
Huge.
I think we'll touch on to that, Godfrey, because barring time is money, and talking about time is money, we're going to go into a quick ad break. Of course, you're watching Expressions. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're still watching Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show. Today is our first broadcast, and of course, we're coming to you live. And as I said, it is the new year, and I think a lot of people are introspecting and re-evaluating some of their choices. But we want you to be part of this conversation, and the poll question that we want you to engage on is simply this: are you hopeful for achieving your new year goals? Join this conversation on our social media pages. And of course, I'm going to continue this conversation with a very stunning young lady by the name of Ulisa Zondo. Lisa, a very warm welcome to Expressions.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
But you must be like, Happy New Year. How? It's because I didn't say Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you too as well.
Thank you so much for just sitting and having this conversation with us. I mean, you operate in the activist space. You are into programs that are around, you know, poverty alleviation as well as job creation. We want to understand, as we're contemplating this new year, this 2023, when we're looking at the conditions of, you know, young people who are living in rural areas, young people who are disadvantaged. I mean, you know, what is life like for them?
Thank you, Jackie, for that question. Life for the rural areas is a bit difficult right now. Firstly, we shouldn't forget that 2 years ago, we were faced with COVID-19. There were a lot of uncertainties. We couldn't really actually plan and have realistic goals, or as we say, New Year's resolution, even though now in 2023, at least there's a little bit of hope where we can try and start to set those goals. Because 2 years ago, a lot of things were happening. South Africa as a whole was depressed. If South Africa, as a big country as it is, was that depressed, financially, mentally, physically, you can only imagine in the rural areas, in the Eastern Cape, specifically where I am from, how the situation was. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their businesses. They had to close them down because of the situation. So luckily this year, things are slowly but starting to pick up.
Yeah.
And certainly, or luckily for me, there are a few initiatives as well that I'm currently implementing so that we can work together with the people in the rural areas, in the Eastern Cape specifically, so that we can try and recover from that, so that the economy of the province, South Africa, the youth of the Eastern Cape as well, can be able to sustain an income and recover and start to make a living.
Yeah, and you know, it's quite powerful to also take into consideration that despite some of these challenges that young people in rural areas and disadvantaged areas are coming from, there still is a little bit of hope that that some of them still have when it comes to the 2023 year. We have Maxwell on the line, and I think we're going to engage with him. Maxwell, hello, welcome to Expressions.
Yeah, hello Expressions, how are you guys?
Good, good. I should say happy New Year. I think we can still say Happy New Year even on the 9th. You know, Maxwell, as a young person, I just want to know, how are you feeling about 2023? Have you set any type of New Year's resolutions? Are you hopeful about what your future is going to look like this year?
Yeah, actually I'm very excited about 2023 because I feel that we've made like mistakes in terms of spending in the past 2-3 years, especially the time of the COVID hit us hard, you know. So on my side, I've learned that overspending in this time is not worth it at all. So like last year, festive season, I never spent a lot, you know, because there are things that are just unnecessary. People are so excited about the festive season. So like you have to like think I had to think for 2023. So I set a calendar for myself that from January to December 2023 I'll be spending like this, because udlale ngemali ngokuthi ayisebenzise kabi ekhaya, namanje people are going through the worst, abantu abanamali baya kumashonisa ezifana lezo, but
And look, and I think that's encouraging. Thank you so much, Maxwell, for your comment and your input on this conversation that we're having. You know, I liked what he was saying. He's realistic, but I think most importantly, he's setting himself a plan that hopefully will work for him and will be successful. And he didn't overspend, which was great. To the young people who are watching, you know, who are as they're watching and listening to this conversation that we're having, are saying, "Hey guys, I'm feeling very discouraged. I don't know if 2023 is going to be okay. There's the Kraken sub-variant as well." I mean, what words of encouragement would you like to share with them, just to say, you know what, keep going?
Actually, Jackie, there isn't much of words that I could say more than this depends on you as an individual. You need to find a way as a young person at home to talk to yourself and motivate yourself. Because if you're looking for motivation outside, at times you don't get it. You're looking for people to tell you to keep pushing, don't give up. But you need yourself as an individual to be able to stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself and encourage yourself. Tell yourself it's going to get better. Sometimes it doesn't, but you just have to be hopeful that it will get better. It doesn't matter the circumstances around you. When we look around, everything, it seems like nothing is working. We talk about government decisions. We'll talk about the economy. Right now, we're in recession in South Africa. There's a lot that is happening that would make a lot of young people to actually want to give up. But for me as an individual, tell them, do not give up. Keep on pushing, keep on trying, motivate yourself. Don't wait for anybody to tell you it's gonna get better. You are responsible for your own well-being. You're responsible for your own life.
Absolutely.
And start making plans. As you plan, take an action. Because if you plan and at the same time you're not doing anything, you're sitting at home, nothing is gonna happen. Get up and do something.
Vuga uzenzele. Thank you so much, Lisa Zondo, who I think also should put their motivational speaker. Don't give up on yourself, and I think that is the message. Understand that you've got the power to bring about whatever change that you set your mind on, and especially now as we contemplate 2023, understand that you can be successful, that you can achieve whatever goals that you set for yourself. We continue with this very important conversation after the break. You are watching Expressions. Welcome back. You're still watching Expressions. Remember, today we're talking about New Year's resolutions. And the poll question that we're asking you, Kakaya, is, are you hopeful of achieving your New Year's goals for this year? Now, we've come to the end of the show, and I think there's so much to discuss. But I think I want to give young people something that they can take away from this conversation. And I think for you, Nicolette, we spoke about being realistic. We spoke about even monitoring your spending habits, decrease instead of increases. You know, being able to live beyond our, within our means, and Dr. Will Smith as well. But I think, again, for young people, give us maybe 2 or 3 tips around how they can stick to their financial goals for 2023.
Sure, I think one is interest. Be interested in your finances. I think if you're interested in your finances, the chances of you to go out there and look for information is probably going to increase, right? So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is know that we are all not born being great at money. Are there people who are predispositioned to be better at financial decision making? Probably. But a majority of us have to learn all of these things. And I think the last one is take one small action. I think that's what Lisa spoke about earlier on, is take an action. Because learning and knowing these things, but not really, information, it only just stays information. But the moment you action it, ask questions, if you need help, seek, reach out, somebody's out there and they're willing to help you.
And what do you think our spending habits can tell us about our emotional and psychological state? I mean, what can we learn? I mean, if I were to just reevaluate how I spent my money at 2023, you know, what can we learn from that?
I mean, it can give you a snapshot of where you were emotionally, right? Because a lot of money and decision making around money is quite emotional. That's why we speak about behavioral finance, right? There's a saying that goes, where you spend is where you where you spend is where you invest, right? So I think it's important to also look within and ask yourself. I found that people that have scarcity issues, they will manifest it via their decision making.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you. I think I just wanted to give Godfrey just an opportunity to just your lasting and parting shots to young people, especially when it comes to their mental well-being.
Firstly, love yourself. You know, you come first. You know, and take care of your body. It's the only house that you live in ever, you know, and be grateful for what you have, you know, and stop comparing yourself to other people.
Lovely.
Let it be about yourself.
Lovely. Let it be about yourself. Godfrey, Nicolette, thank you so very much for giving us some food for thought. I hope you've had some great takeaways from today's shows, some gold nuggets around how you can engage with your 2023. And of course, as usual, we always end the show in style. We're going to be asking Umu Samake to give us a performance and start off 2023 in style. From me, Jacqueline, and the Expressions teams, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Keep going. musiche non c'è, ho violato